And we are joined now by Donald Trump's new campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway. Welcome to This Week.
Thank you.
Good to see you. So you were his third campaign manager, his third time the charm. Are we really going to see change in this campaign?
This was the best week, I think, so far in the Trump campaign, mostly because he's able to be himself, the authentic Donald Trump, but also the pivot that he's made is on substance, George. He's out there talking about law enforcement. He's talking about defeating radical Islamic terrorism, middle-class tax relief. And
You've heard all that before, though.
Well, not really, because these are specific plans. And people can disagree with them, they're welcome to, but at least they can see them. They can pull up his plan for middle-class tax relief. They can say, hey, this guy said we've had 33,000 murders by ISIS and its predecessor groups since 2003 or so, 80% of them having occurred in the last 3 years since the birth and growth of ISIS happened. He's at least willing to call them radical terrorists. Mrs. Clinton, in her convention speech just last month, referred to them as our determined enemies. She'll call Donald Trump a radical. She just won't call the terrorists radical.
We also saw those comments on Thursday night expressing regret. But you already have the Hillary Clinton campaign running a video showing Donald Trump talking about all the times he doesn't regret what he said, whether it was the comments about the Khan family, Judge Curiel, John McCain. So what specifically does Mr. Trump regret saying?
He has said that he wants to regret any time he's caused somebody personal pain by saying something that he didn't intend to cause personal pain. And I think those who have received it privately should take that expression of regret.
So he's called
for them.
The Khan family, he's called John McCain and apologized?
No, he's expressed this regret publicly and said, if I have caused you personal pain, that can include me, that can include you, that he regrets that. And that's the Donald Trump that I know.
But that's regretting what they feel, not what he said.
No, that's regretting that he said, if I have chosen the wrong words or said something in a way that I didn't intend, then I regret that. But this is exactly what people love. They love humility, they love accessibility, they love authenticity. And I'm just amazed that the Hillary team has responded in yet another attack on Donald Trump. When are we going to hear how she really feels about Aetna and United Healthcare pulling out of the Obamacare exchanges, reporting billions of dollars in losses? Obamacare is still seen very unfavorably by many Americans. Is she going to own it? Are we going to single payer? We want to know. We want to pivot on the substance, and we hope they'll do the same.
And I'll be talking to Mr. Mook in just a little bit. So is Donald Trump sorry for what he said to about the Khan family? Is he sorry for what he said about John McCain? Is he sorry for what he said about Judge Curiel?
He has said that he regrets causing personal pain to those who feel it based on things that he has said. And I'm very pleased that Senator McCain has endorsed him and that he's endorsed Senator McCain. He's in a tough primary race next week. But I do believe that this is what people appreciate. And we couldn't even get Secretary Clinton to say she was sorry about deleting 33,000 emails. She's sorry about pay-to-play at the State Department. She's sorry about the Clinton Foundation taking all these foreign donations that I assume, George, he's implicitly admitting are not a good idea, since they reported this week that they would, quote, stop taking these foreign donations if she's elected. Doesn't that implicitly admit that it's not a good idea to do that in the first place?
Another question you're going to bring to Mr. Mook. You've had a change of heart during this campaign as well. During the primaries, you were working for a super PAC supporting Ted Cruz and had several comments critical of Mr. Trump. Let's take a look.
He says he's for the little guy, but he's actually built a lot of his businesses on the backs of the little guy. It's completely transparent. Donald Trump's tax returns aren't. I'd like to see those be transparent. It's vulgar. And do I want somebody who hurls personal insults or who goes and talks about philosophical differences?
So what changed for you, and do you stand by those comments?
I do, and the reason is I don't like when people hurl personal insults. That will never change. That's not my style. I'm a mother of 4 small children. It'd be a terrible example for me to feel otherwise.
You think Mr. Trump's going to change on that?
Well, but he doesn't hurl personal insults. In other words, just this week, look what he talked about. He's bringing the case right to communities of color in Michigan, and he's speaking to all Americans when he does that, George. And what he's doing is he's challenging the Democratic Party. He's challenging Hillary Clinton and President Obama's legacy and Democratic mayors all across this country. And he's saying, look, how in the world can we abide a 58% unemployment rate among African-American youth? How can we stand over 1 million more African-Americans in poverty since 2009? The Hillary people want this to all be about tone and temperament. We also want it to be about facts and figures, because that's the only way you rebuild the American economy, you unleash energy independence, you frankly get a hold of the disaster that has been Obamacare. So we want to take that case directly to the people, but facts don't lie, and the fact that he's going places where other Republican candidates have been unwilling or unable to do is pretty remarkable.
And I want to get to that in one moment. One more question on this. So you say you stand by your comments. So you still believe that Donald Trump should be transparent release his tax returns?
I've learned, I'm glad that he's transparent about a number of things, and we're certainly running against the least accountable, least transparent, I think, joyless candidate in presidential political history. But I've learned since on being the inside that this audit is a serious matter, and that he has said that when the audit is complete, he'll release his tax returns. I also know as a pollster that what concerns people most about, quote, taxes is their own tax liability. And so we appreciate people being able to see Hillary Clinton's plan and Donald Trump's plan and figure out who will really get the middle class tax relief.
Let's talk about those comments that Mr. Trump made about the African-American community. Here's part of them this week.
What do you have to lose? Look, what do you have to lose? You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs. 58% of your youth is unemployed. What the hell do you have to lose?
As you know, you were just talking about that, but many in the African-American community saw that as insulting because they say most African-Americans don't live in poverty, and that Mr. Trump was making those comments in communities that are more than 90% white.
But those comments are for all Americans, and I live in a white community. I'm white. I was very moved by his comment. In other words, he is trying to tell Americans that we can do better. And the thing that he said that I think got a great deal of resonance is that maybe Hillary Clinton looks at you as voters this year, takes you for granted. I look at you as people. And if you, again, George, if you think 58% of unemployment in the African-American youth community is a good idea, then absolutely please go vote for Hillary Clinton, everyone. But he's saying you can't do any worse. We're the party. He's the candidate that believes in school choice vouchers and chartered schools for African-American, Hispanic students, and everybody really. But they've benefited. I've done a lot of work in that space here in New York City, and it's just remarkable to see the quality education that these students who are fully capable and very intelligent receive through school choice and charters. Hillary Clinton's against those.
You talked about the changes Mr. Trump is ready to talk about right now. What about on the ground? You're still far behind the Hillary Clinton campaign in staffing, organization in the states and in the headquarters.
So what we're trying to do this week is get an assessment of where we really are state by state. And I'll be talking to all of our state directors, our field staff, our data operation, find out where we are and what they think we need. We also are we're going to start deploying people who are very talented in different states and bring them to these 7 or 8 swing states that then we plan on expanding to 10 or 11. I'm also happy to announce that we're working very closely with the RNC, whether it's political, data, fundraising. Got a great relationship with Chairman Priebus, talk to him daily now. And we at the campaign are going to expect Sean Spicer, the Director of Communications and the Chief Strategist at the RNC, to be spending more time with us up here in New York.
He'll be joining your campaign?
He's going to be spending more time here.
We're going to talk to Mr. Priebus in just a second. One final question on the debates. A few weeks ago, Mr. Trump told me he didn't like the dates and he wasn't sure about the moderators. Is he now prepared to accept the moderators and dates chosen by the Commission on Presidential Debates?
What we're doing right now is we're talking about all the particulars, logistics about the debates, George, but we're also doing debate prep. And we're doing that in many different ways, but he's very engaged with that. It's actually a very enjoyable pursuit for him. He's a natural communicator, a natural connector with people, and the debates are a fabulous opportunity to force a conversation onto substance. I mean, again, what I learned this week, we had a great week, best week so far. But the other thing I learned is I think Donald Trump is back in Hillary Clinton's head. If you look at the way they responded to this week, and that's exactly where he needs to be, occupying serious real estate in Hillary Clinton's head, because then they make it about him.
Not yet ready to accept the dates?
We are discussing that.
Okay, Kellyanne, thanks very much.
Thank you.